The debate over Jason Sands continues to rage. We got that and a lot more to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, this is an article from the Daily Star. Are they a good source of information? Well, they've been pretty good about UFO stuff, generally speaking. At least they're talking about it, and they have a good article here about Jason Sands. And it goes basically it's just talking about the Twitter Spaces interview he did. In a lengthy Q&A broadcast through Twitter, he explained why he turned down one job offer that was connected with the UFO crash retrieval program. This is kind of funny. They tried to recruit me into the retrieval program early on, but I refused because I thought it was kind of gross. Picking up the bodies and things like that. Yeah, and then they give a picture here that's kind of gross too. So, so he didn't want to be in the UFO retrieval program because it was kind of gross. Okay, interesting. Interesting idea there. Promoted stories. There have already been several attempts to discredit Sands, but he was certainly in the U.S. Air Force in some capacity. He has produced valid documents confirming the dates that he commenced and left the service. He claims he was in the Air Force for 22 years and that in that time he was cleared to view top secret information. One of his jobs, he says, was connected with technology captured during various earthbound conflicts, learning to duplicate and counter weapon systems used by hostile groups and governments here on Earth. But he says there was a more exotic side to his work that involved an effort to understand technology captured from non-human intelligences. Sands was part of a red team monitoring the scientists' communications and watching for potential leaks. He says that as he did that, he heard the researchers discussing contact with multiple alien races. He recalled, "On the missions, we did intercept traffic that dealt with what I found very strange. Some of those dealt with some of the other races that are involved. They mentioned the tall whites, the grays. We heard things like that." He added there were labs examining material retrieved from U.A.P. crashes, but that he refused an offer to join one of those retrieval programs. When he first joined the program, he was a skeptic when it came to alien contact, but his mind has now changed. Saying that a lot of the details of the program were still classified, he revealed, "I can tell you that we're not alone. We do have some contact with aliens." Of course, one of the most controversial claims that Sands makes is that he was in something like the 20 and Back program. He doesn't talk much about it. He says he's still processing it, which makes sense. But he is not alone. There are plenty of others, or at least multiple others, that claim to be involved in that program, going back 10 years before Corey Goode. So this information isn't coming from Corey Goode. Although he did popularize the idea of 20 back, and 20 and back, he actually trademarked 20 and back, as he says many times in that deposition, which I think is just hilarious. But okay, so here's Randy Kramer, who is says he's a real-life super soldier that was involved in the 20 and Back program, and he has taken a lie detector test to determine the truth of this. So here he is, taking a lie detector test, answering a few basic questions, and also answering questions about whether he was in 20 and Back.
Now in Colorado.
Yes.
Are you currently a ranking member of the USMCSS?
Yes.
During your entire lifetime, have you ever violated any rules or regulations?
No.
Regarding your involvement in the USMCSS, do you intend to answer each of my questions truthfully?
Yes.
Have you ever killed an extraterrestrial being?
Yes.
Have you ever said anything out of anger that you later regretted?
No.
Have you ever physically been to a planet other than Earth?
Yes.
Have you ever been deployed on a 20 and Back program?
Yes.
So there you go. I don't know. I think the most controversial or dubious part of that whole thing was he had never said anything in anger that he later regretted. Who is this guy? I mean, seriously, who is this guy? Who in the world has never said anything that they didn't regret? Yeah, anyway, so there you go. He is passing a lie detector test here where he claims that he was involved in the 20 and back program in the secret Space Force. So, yeah, the secret space fleet. So what do you think? Is the 20 and back program real? I have never believed the 20 and back program. I had always thought it came from Corey Goode until I started looking into the SANS information and found out that actually the 20 and back idea had been around 10 years before Corey Goode. So, yeah, so there are multiple people that claim to have been involved in this program or been subject or victimized or whatever you want to call it to this 20 and back program. I don't see how this program makes any sense. These guys, I mean, surely they have the ability to clone super soldiers or grow them in a vat somewhere or get some robots to do it or whatever. Why do they need to go through this very convoluted process of capturing somebody and impressing them into the service of the secret Space Force and all of that, and then after 20 years sending them back to when they were originally taken? It's just such an outlandish idea. It doesn't make any sense. But there you go. It's been around since 10 years since before Corey Goode. People are passing lie detectors that they have been in this program. Could this program actually exist? I'm still, I was always a disbeliever in the 20 and back program, but now I'm getting to the point where I'm at least on the fence about it. So I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think about that and about everything else involving this part of the story in the comments below. Also, could this guy be an alien? I mean, really? He never said anything in anger that he later regretted? That doesn't sound human to me. Meanwhile, Jason Wild posts this image of elongated skull people from around the world. What is up with these elongated skull people, guys? To me, this seems like evidence of non-human involvement, possibly by, genuine alien or non-human elongated skull beings that came to different parts of the world, and the peoples of those regions adopted their look. Maybe the beings, thought their look was better and they encouraged the humans to do this because it was more beautiful. Maybe the humans did this on their own. Maybe the humans did this in an attempt to develop the abilities that the beings had. I don't know what's up with the elongated skull people. It's a fascinating mystery, but it seems to have been a global thing, and to my mind, evidence of non-human involvement, because how else could all of these different cultures from around the world have independently come up with this very bizarre practice? But let me know what you think. Speaking of ancient mysteries, what about the giant finger? Okay, yeah, you may or may not have heard this story, but here's the short version of it, and I'll play the video. This is from A Minute to Know, a podcast, and I'll link to it, and you can watch the full thing. It's only a couple of minutes long, but it's a very intriguing story, and this finger of a potential giant might still be around somewhere. Okay, this occurred in 1988. A researcher in Egypt is finding this specimen, and I'll just let the narrator tell the story of how he went out and found it from this family who have a family tradition of grave robbing.
Stopped at a farm where he met an elderly farmer named Najib, the descendant of an ancient family of grave robbers. From his grandparents' inheritance, Najib inherited 2 wooden chests filled with valuables that provided him with a good income over the years. However, there was one relic that he never sold and had been in his family's possession for a long time. Najib suggested that Sporry could see and photograph the object for a fee of $300. Najib took out a wooden box, lifted the lid, and a musty smell wafted into the air. He took out a long box, wrapped in a leather cloth.
Anyway, a long story short, we don't know where the hand is now or the finger is now, but it seems to have been the finger of some sort of giant. Meanwhile, David Haith has given us a breakdown of this interview with Dr. Charles Bueller, a NASA physicist who has patented a breakthrough propellantless propulsion device based on electrostatic pressure, which has been confirmed by 2 independent research teams. In this interview, Charles says it's very hard to reconcile from a scientific point of view because it does seem to violate a lot of energy laws that we have. But this is fundamental, so understanding this will kind of get us an idea of what is in the structure of space and time. So fascinating stuff, and thank you very much for the breakdown, David. I can't wait for this technology to get out there. Meanwhile, Merrick, opinion journalist for The Hill, says that this is proof that the Air Force lied about U.A.P. interfering with nuclear missiles. Also, J. Allen Hynek interviewed the witnesses. Air Force document cited verbatim by Hynek confirms communications interference. Contractor confirms interference. Border Patrol officer confirms interference. And he gives various references here. This is by J. Allen Hynek himself. This is an article from Stephen Webb and other sources of information on this, confirming that, yeah, the UFOs are interfering with our nukes. This is something that we all know, but this is more confirmation of that I think would be hard for the authorities to deny. But they will. Meanwhile, remember that amazing remote viewing that Anita did on the Nazca culture and peoples, and also some information about the beings, the Nazca mummies? Well, she has taken her original notes that she made and that she sent me. That's a very long and detailed, in-depth description of her remote viewing session. And she has translated that into a visual medium using the power of AI-generated art. She spent a lot of time coming up with these images through AI. And she has just a really amazing series of videos here. And she takes you through her original notes, and then she shows you images of exactly what she's talking about. And it's really incredible. And if you have time, I highly recommend you going to check this out, because it's some great stuff in here. Really great stuff. And yeah, so... yeah, the scarabs, that was weird. That was a weird part of it. Anyway, I'll link to her channel in the description below. Oh, and remember the Eglin Air Force Base UFO, this thing right here? Well, John Bell released a video of a UFO that looks a lot like that. Look at the shape of it, this kind of pear shape to it. Interesting. Do you think this could be a similar type of craft to the Eglin Air Force Base UFO? Of course, John's UFO seems to shapeshift as it goes on. It's pear-shaped at sometimes, and then at other times it's more circular. I'm not sure if that's because it's actually changing shapes or if it's like rotating and the pointy bit is on the side now. But look here, it looks more spherical, right? And of course, the one in Eglin was part of a formation, and this one is by itself. But it's still very interesting, this possible similarity between these two UFOs. So I'll link to John's channel, Real Florida UFO, where he gets a lot of captures of these UFOs in the comments below. Meanwhile, check out this crop circle. It is a cool crop circle sent to me by Tim Clark. I really like this. And what's really striking about this are the wing-like structures coming off of this. Is this some sort of crazy UFO with wings? Because I think that's really interesting, because, of course, I talk a lot about Dr. Robert Shipe's videos, his dragon UFOs. You know, those very small UFOs that buzz helicopters and planes and stuff like that, airborne objects. And I think they may also be responsible for some of the activity over military installations and even, buzzing our ships at sea. And some of those objects appear to have wings, so much so that people think they're bugs or birds. Of course, these are objects that go behind distant objects like planes, proving they are not bugs or birds. they're giving the illusion of going very fast because they're, close to the screen. But these are actually far, far away, miles away, and they're still going extremely fast, and they have wings, some of them. And so is this crop circle depicting a dragon UFO? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Meanwhile, Ross Coulthard is tweeting about directed energy weapons. Admission from a former very senior U.S. government security official, Dr. Harold Malmgren, that there is a nation or nations with as yet undisclosed directed energy weapons. No country ready to disclose such weapons until critically needed. Is this why there is such U.A.P. secrecy? Yeah, and here's the actual tweet from Harold Malmgren. There is not publicly disclosed direct energy weapons options that could be used, and Iran also has some such capability, but no country ready to disclose such weapons until critically needed. Does that mean a war? Does that mean until the country is hard pressed by conflict that they won't unveil this technology? But this technology does exist by one or more countries. Apparently Iran has it. We can assume that other countries like the U.S. likely have this as well. Could this be responsible for some of what we're seeing in the Havana syndrome? What is this technology? Who developed it? Is it developed by, humans exclusively? Is it some sort of, crash retrieval, alien, reverse engineer technology? Well, what is this, and why is there such secrecy on this technology? I mean, we know about nukes, right? We know about biological warfare. So why is this specifically so secret? Meanwhile, I finally learned where Lockheed Martin Skunk Works got its name. Ever wonder what the true meaning behind the logo is? Yeah, Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, because we reverse engineer all our tech from E.T. Greys, who smell an awful lot like skunks. Meanwhile, Dr. Gregory Little goes out to Sedona to investigate portals and vortexes, and here he is telling us a little bit about that.
Basis, there is like an outflow of electromagnetic energy from this spot. So the Earth has a basal level of electromagnetic energy. It's called the Schumann resonance. And in this spot, from time to time, there is a spike in the amount of electromagnetic energy coming out of the Earth. Now, only about maybe 100 feet, 150 feet to my left here is a spot where he found the opposite. And that is, it's a spot where electromagnetic energy appears to decline precipitously on a sporadic basis. It's almost like the Earth is drawing it or pulling it in. So that's the idea of a vortex. You get in these spots, you tune yourself to the Earth's ambient frequency, which is basically right at the cusp of theta brain waves, and it's not quite meditating, but supposedly then you can have these interesting psychic sort of experiences.
So yeah, that's really interesting. The difference, I guess, between vortices and portals. Portals, of course, can take you somewhere else, but vortices seem like you can get in tune with the Earth, if I'm understanding this right. This is pretty cool, guys. I want to try this. I need to go out to Sedona and go to one of these vortices. Are they known places? Can you just go to, those specific places? Do you have to have some sort of device to find it? How do you know where these vortices are? Because it sounds pretty cool. Have any of you guys done it or know anybody that has? I'd be very curious. Anyway, let me know what you think about that and everything else covered today in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure appreciate it. Smash the like button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in an even bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member, because channel members are rock stars and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.